Hi, this is Carol with Carol Joes, and today we are going to be starting our series on the cords and wires you can use for making jewelry. So the first cord or wire that we will be discussing in this series is the stretch cord, which is a stretchy cord that you can use to create what I call the stretch bracelets. That's what I have on today. There are different sizes in the diameter of that stretch cord. For example, this one is 0.5 millimeters. My bulk one is 0.8. And I'm going to show you the difference between the 0.5 and the 0.8 here. So you can see there is a difference between those two. The other one that I use is the 1 millimeter size. I do not have the 1 millimeter to show you because I am out of it right now. But there are many reasons why you use the different sizes. It doesn't matter the brand name that you have of the stretch cord. As you saw, I had Stretch Magic for this one. There are just different names for them. But you will use them for different reasons. My most common one that I use, as you can tell because I buy it in bulk, is the 0.8. The reason why I use this one is that it can handle small, lightweight beads. It can do medium beads. It can handle a lot of different things. So most of your beads are going to be in this one. If you have heavy beads or beads that have sharp holes, then I use the 1 millimeter. And what I mean by sharpness in the hole is how well is the hole drilled out? Is it smooth or does it have jagged edges? If it has jagged edges, you want to use a thicker diameter of the cord so that when it is rubbing against those edges, it has a lot more to go through, and you will notice when it is getting to the point it needs to be restrung before it breaks more times than not. The reason I will use a 0.5 is because most common beads have a 1 millimeter size hole. If I am doing a project where I have to put the stretch cord through that hole twice, I need a smaller diameter cord. Because if I take the 0.5, multiply it by 2, if it goes through there twice, that gets us to 1 millimeter. If I try to use the 0.8 and I've multiplied that by 2, that makes it 1.6 millimeters. So it's very hard to get that second stretch cord through that hole. So that is why I use the 0.5 when what I'm making goes through a hole twice. The heavier beads, I'm going to tell you for that 1.0 would be like porcelain beads, and they also will have more times than not the ragged edges inside the hole of that bead. So for porcelain, I always use 1.0. More times than not with my glass beads, I just use this one. Unless I'm getting to a 12 to 14 millimeter size bead, then I'll go to the 1.0. If I have a 4 millimeter size bracelet, I could do it on the 0.5, but the hole is big enough to allow this one, so I'm going to go to this one. Always go to the one that's the biggest that will fit your needs. The 1.0 is going to be more expensive than the 0.8. So that's why I stick with that more times than not. Just cost price, because I resell the jewelry that I make, or I sell it. So I got to keep my costs down for my profit margins. So it all just depends on what type of product you're using, what size of beads you are using, what the hole size is, and how jagged the inside of that hole is to determine which cord I'm going to use. One tip I will tell you when you are going to make your projects is after you have taken your string and cut it off, always stretch it, because as you see, they're on circular tubes of some sort, and it will have that, it'll just hold into that. If you stretch it after you get it off, you will find you probably have a little bit more, and then it won't sag as much after you have created your project. Also, When you notice your project or your jewelry is starting to sag, or you see spaces in between the beads with the cord because you've worn it a lot, that means it's time to restring it. This stretch cord isn't made to last forever. It is plastic and it does deteriorate over time. I do happen to keep my jewelry in plastic bags so that they do not get the elements of the air to harm it. So that will help to keep it so it doesn't deteriorate as fast. Another thing is don't wear it in the shower, or do not wear them when you're swimming. The chemicals and the water will break down your stretch cord. So it is not recommended to wear your jewelry in either one of those situations. I hope you found these tips and information helpful if you're going to be using stretch cord in your project. If you have other tips that you can share with the rest of us, please put it in the chat so that we can all learn and grow with this. I hope you have a great day. Bye.